All right. Welcome to Project Call 002. So let's start off with something simple. Let's do the operation. So there's been some talking going on recently about using the launched out funds to actually yield farm. Tyler and I were talking about it, but then we also were wondering if maybe the community would actually have pushback. We also wanted to get the Q branch's opinion on doing something like that. Also, what the lift would be like to do something like that. So if you were to take the launched out, take the funds inside there, stake them in the yield farming, and then pull them out as we needed them, so that we could then receive the bond tokens. What is everyone's opinion on that? Anybody?
My vote, since I talked to Troy about it, is I think it's a good idea. I've talked about it in the past. Maybe the community will say like those are for community funds, and if you're just yield farming them, then like you're not getting it to the community. But like the flip side of that is that we still at some point those things would trickle out to the community. They would just be in the treasury. I think it makes it more competitive to like VCs trying to go in. And then but if we say like, okay, yeah, let's not like have the BarnBridge DAO make money off of like the money that we have sitting in the DAO, like
this would specifically, just so you know, this would specifically go into the launch DAO. This is coming from the launch DAO. So it would come back when it gets harvested, it would be in the launch DAO. So then it would, like, the participants in that would then be able to vote out accordingly. I think it's a good way that we can actually use to incent, like, it's an extra something to give back. Like, we can have control over it to give back to the community or use however we want. But that's my personal opinion. See what I'm saying?
What would be the benefit? That's why I'm not following, to be honest. Like, what's the
benefit is to be able, you can incentivize people working. So like, we have the treasury, right? But if we have all this liquid sitting there, right? Why don't we, in the meantime, why don't we use it like for something? That was where it came from. But then there was the thinking that, well, because like one of the original ideas was like, why don't we just take all the capital and just put it in Aave and put it in AUSDC and just have interest on it? I mean, it's a large chunk of change. You're going to get certain, like, a pretty good amount of capital back, right? But then it was like, well, why don't we just use it for yield farming, and then we can use those bond tokens and like reward people or use them however we want to people, right? Like, we don't have any bond tokens set aside inside there. Like, we have a treasury, but that's going to go directly into the BarnBridge DAO, which will not be controlled by the launch DAO, right? Like, we don't have that. So there is some sort of, the launch DAO can, like, the early builders can actually like give out the tokens. We never allocated anything like that. So like the idea was, well, why don't we compete with everyone else who's yield farming, and then we just get a pro rata share accordingly. But there was also the thought, like Tyler brought up, that there would be community blowback. So we wanted to bring it up on the call. We also wanted to get your guys' opinion on the lift of that. I know Slava, or Milad said that Slava was probably looking into the Aragon agent this week.
No. It was Adi. I looked into.
Or Adi, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's doable. It's easy to do, but I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean,
why?
Because the community vault itself, which gives out the rewards, right? The rewards come from the community vault, which has, I don't know, 65% of the tokens. That comes from the launch DAO itself. And then when launch DAO competes with everyone else, it comes back into the launch DAO. You know what I mean? The idea is to have the as much of it in the world as possible, I guess. That's how I think about it. I don't know.
See,
that's my first thought.
Yeah. And then my pushback on that would be that we are still also part of the community. And so even if it, like, we give it away, right? But it can come back. So,
well, it comes back into the launch DAO, right?
Through the mechanisms.
Yeah.
Through the mechanisms that we have
the launch
to the people.
The launch DAO sends the tokens to the community vault. It sets up the allowances to give it to the yield farming, and then through the yield farming, it could come back to the launch DAO, the treasury.
Yeah.
That's why. So less of it goes to the.
It's just an idea.
I know. I'm just saying, less of the tokens go to the community this way. Even if we are the community too, right? I mean,
I would say we are the community too, right?
Yeah, but like if we participate on our own behalf, yeah, for sure. But the launch DAO itself is not the community. The launch DAO is the DAO. I don't know if that makes sense.
The funds are technically in the treasury. Like the launch DAO holds the treasury.
Yeah.
So I think it makes it more competitive, and we can allocate we could say that we would allocate those tokens again to the community in the future, or we could say that we would.
It would be up to us to decide what to do with those tokens.
Yeah, I mean, they would go into the treasury
as part of the community. Yeah, it would go into the launch DAO treasury.
They would go back into the treasury. Yeah.
Well, and the treasury is going to be community run, so it's kind of like.
But no, Tyler. The treasury that Milad's talking about, it would go back into the treasury of the launch DAO, not the treasury of the BarnBridge DAO. That one is community run, right? But then the launch DAO just becomes another member inside of the BarnBridge DAO, which is part of the community, right? Like in some weird sense. It's an interesting idea. I don't want us to get held up on it. I kind of wanted to do this as a community exercise so that we can present this to the community and use it, and like we can ask them what they think, right? Because it's a way for them to have their opinion heard. Like we're not going to make the final decision on this. I think it would be interesting though to hear from everybody.
Yeah.
Is there anyone on the call who would also like to make an opinion on this or has an opinion? Okay. Not even 007. Not even 007 himself, Mr. Bendis. Okay. All right, cool. Well, then we're going to move on because that was just more of a community exercise. So the next step is what everyone's been waiting for, the yield farming and an LP incentivization update. So Dragos, would you like to do a quick update on where we are with all that, or Bogdan? And then we're going to have a UI walkthrough.
Okay. I mean, I thought we're going to do the UI walkthrough first, but
okay,
Bogdan?
Go for it.
I mean, I can get screen sharing situation going on here, and I can show you what's been going on. We already have the whole thing up and running, but this is a hot PR that was just opened, like literally. I think it's not been less than. I honestly think it's been how long? Yeah, so 3 minutes ago, so it's like still very hot. And I just managed to run this locally, but this should give you like a full idea of what would be like a general idea what would be for the launch. It's still work in progress, so kind of like just start playing around with this. We have the pools page. We get data, total value lock transactions that have happened. So there has been a lot of progress. And what I'm trying to play with right now is the whole staking mechanism right now. Yeah, I mean, we kind of need to work on this, and soon it's going to be out there. So, there's like details that need to be covered. So those are work in progress right now. That'll be a general update.
Okay.
Not a lot to show right now, sadly. So, but soon, like very, very soon. So.
Okay. So I guess Bogdan, was there anything you wanted to add on that, or are you good?
Oh, no, I'm good. Nothing to add on the UI side. Just going to ask if you want to do the timeline announcements or if should I do them.
You can do them if you want.
Is the article out? The article with the timelines?
The article is not out, so please don't share but you can just say the dates if you want.
No, I'm not going to share my screen or anything. I can just share the dates. Yeah, so the UI is going to be finished and going to be launched by October 14th, which is like a week from yesterday, probably next Wednesday. And the contracts are going to be live. You're going to be able to deposit in the stablecoins pool. The DLP pool is obviously not going to be up because you have to actually have some bonds farmed to deposit in Uniswap to have that. And the first epoch of when actual bonds start harvesting is going to be October 19th. So it's going to be like at 12 o'clock midnight next Monday, October 19th. So that's when yield farming starts, and October 26th, a week later, you're going to be able to harvest the first bond tokens, deposit them in the Uniswap LP pool, and a week later you can enter the LP pool as well with the Uniswap LP token.
Okay.
That's the gist of it. Basically, not this Monday. The Monday that comes next is the start of the first epoch of yield farming.
And we have everything. And we have everything deployed right now. Smart contracts out there, all that stuff, right?
Yep, everything is on testnets. We're gonna deploy them on mainnet after we're done testing everything and release them in the wild.
Cool. So it's just like an exercise with Slava, and we also have Vlad to make sure everything works in place there. And Godspeed and launch, put this out there on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Happy farming.
And so happy farming. So just to piggyback on all that, we're going to have a article coming out later today also that will have all the data and the dates and how long everything lasts and all that good stuff. So anyone out there who's doing calculations on what they want to be doing, so it's all going to be there. So that's pretty cool. So the next thing on the agenda is the BarnBridge DAO update. And we've been having some internal communications about this. We actually got a question on the GitHub right before this started from Not Runner. And he was asking, he said, has there been any thought on what community governance process will look like? And he thought there was a healthy conversation about that. And because this kind of plays into that. So like what we're thinking right now is, there's been research done on the diamond standard. It feels people like it. So we're doing more research. I don't know. Milad,
yeah, we're doing some test implementations with diamond standard. It seems robust. It seems doable. It just has some overhead, more gas usage, but it allows us to launch a more bare bones DAO, let's say, and add stuff as we go on.
Which is kind of what we've been thinking for a while, is that we'd want to go with a simple DAO and then move to a more advanced DAO. But there's definitely, just to answer that guy's question, there's going to be the BBIPs. So you can go in there and put in a proposal, and then everyone can talk about it. There's going to be we're probably going to copy Synthetics' model. I think theirs is the best on the way stuff kind of comes up through the community. And they have a very robust community. So, but anyway, research is ongoing. And then past that, the other thing to talk about was the smart yield bonds. Where are we? Who wants to kind of break that down, where we are with that? Maybe Milad. Again.
With the smart yield?
Yeah.
So, yeah, most of my time in the past week at least has been on smart yield with Rezvan, Bogdan Gerge, and Kasyan. We have some. We want to make the best UX possible for the smart yield, having in mind the limitations of smart contracts and not being able to loop through stuff too much, gas efficiencies and stuff like that. So we're at the point that we have a model that could work with a fungible pool of junior tokens that can guarantee limited time bonds for senior tranches, basically, right? But the senior tranches will be NFTs. The junior pool size will be a fungible token that could be traded on Uniswap and others. we still have some technical and design problems that we need to solve, but it's looking it's looking good so far. We haven't decided on the final design of the smart yield yet. So
Yeah.
anyone,
No.
if someone has any ideas and I don't know, suggestions, we're open to it.
Yeah, there's a channel in the Discord for anyone who's there that says smart yield bonds. So if you have any ideas or if you want to join the conversation, it's probably the best place to go.
Okay.
Cool. So I think that's a good update for the tech team. Next thing we wanted to go into was marketing and the bond NFT program, which is Mr. Tyler Ward's baby. So how's everything going with that, Tyler?
It's good. We've been dealing with like, I guess, like schizophrenic gas fees. They're really high at some points, they're really low at other points, but like it is expensive to like mint all of these NFTs. I also need to get like a burn address because I talked to a like copyright attorney, and like some of those ones, I don't think we're like actually gonna get in trouble for any of them. But some of the ones that are like actual like photograph of Sean Connery that he's just got like a crown on, or like probably more so some of the ones that like Daniel Craig, I need to be a little bit concerned about. The ones that are like full illustrations, at that point it's just like art. Like it's a public figure in the public domain. Like when Marilyn Manson or when Marilyn Monroe was like drawn by who's that artist that did like the cans? Andy Warhol. Like that's not illegal. Like those people are like, you could paint a picture of Donald Trump and go sell it, and like that's your ability, right? So like but the ones that are like photograph centric, we also probably have to be like a little bit careful about some of the memes we post. But I don't really, I mean, like if it's on Giphy, if it's a publicly available image that there's a lot of memes that are being made about, like at some point it's just like, it's just art, right? I also want to introduce Pablo on the team. So like Pablo joined along with some other members of Proof Systems. They're going to be helping with, like, they're working on an FAQ right now for a lot of the information that's pulled off of Discord, just like we get the same questions over and over and over again. We have some like site management work that we need to do. Like one thing a lot of people have been asking is, we just keep saying like, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Discord, but people miss announcements. So like it may help if we set up like a email marketing program. It's not going to hurt to essentially have one. Like I don't personally like email that much anymore, but some people are still using it. So for those people, we'll set up an email marketing just schedule so you don't miss any major announcements. Pablo's also just been helping with like the banner on Reddit, making sure like we have donuts, especially if we run into yield farming. We're gonna have like a content. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, why don't you let Pablo introduce himself?
Well, I just wrote down everything we're doing, and then I'll actually let him like introduce who he is. So, because I meant to send this to Pablo, but I didn't hit it. So, we're like gonna have a content calendar with social management, and then yeah, Pablo, if there's anything that you want to add in on, and also just introduce yourself, because the community won't know who you are, even though everyone on this call does.
Yeah, sure. So we're excited to be here, guys. I originally have a degree in computer engineering, but like most part of my background is in the marketing. And as Tyler said, like in the meantime, we are working on the FAQ, trying to look on it like we are like as a community will, and we are a community. So we are just trying to make it as clear as possible for everybody. And yeah, we'll be just helping as we can. So
Yep.
Yeah, you guys you'll see Pablo a lot in the Discord, I would imagine. So he'll be around.
Yep.
Yeah. Right now we're just onboarding them. This isn't like the easiest of things to understand in market. So like obviously there's a little bit of work that needs to be done on just like understanding what BarnBridge even is. I think as all of us went through over the past month.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with this project. So, I mean, I think all of us on this call, for the most part, is pretty up to speed. But even everyone on this call is not 100% like on everything. So, that's cool though. I'm excited for the community to like get up to speed on everything because like I think they're gonna be just like all about it once they realize the potential of what we're building.
And there's so many stuff going on. Correct. So
yeah, there's a lot going on.
Hey, actually, real quick, before we move off marketing completely, just so everybody knows, because like maybe everybody doesn't follow the Medium post, we created an NFT program that is different than like the types of NFTs that Malad is talking about. Like, and I just want to be careful that everyone knows that when we're saying NFT there, we're more on the smart yield and the smart alpha, like inside of the product on like the DAO side. When we say NFT there, we're more talking about like a unique token, like a proof of liquidity, because like every single bond is going to have like a different maturity date, like it's going to be entered into and like exited at a different time. So like unlike something like Aave where you just have like a DAI as your like proof of liquidity, these proof of liquidities will actually be like somewhat unique, and like we have to figure out the syntax of them. Like, is a low risk entry point of like a 30% tranche on Smart Alpha? Do we write like LR30 ETH like BB, right? Like, so we're gonna have to come up with the syntax, but I don't know if they're at like when we say NFT, we're not talking about like an ERC 721. Which maybe that is the play long term. Like we haven't gotten there, but we do need to figure out like the syntax component of how we show to the BarnBridge DAO that someone actually like entered or exited a position and that they have like this unique token that represents like their liquidity on the platform, right? As far as like one of the reasons that we've been looking into NFTs is because of this. And so I wrote an article with like everybody on the team has been helping with this like NFT program. We've been looking through like what everybody's doing across DeFi as far as NFTs go. There's a lot of hype around NFTs, but there's also like real actual utility that can come from just NFTs at aggregate, like everyone using them in the same way that we talked about DeFi 2 or 3 years ago. NFTs like are around for a reason and people are excited about them for a reason. So one of the things that we did at BarnBridge is we created a like 200 NFTs of like James Bond, Austin Powers, like images, kind of anything around like the whole Bond meme and ethos. And we commissioned like 20 different artists to what we did it through Proof, not directly from BarnBridge, but we essentially commissioned like 20 different artists that made 200 images that we've minted as NFT, like ERC 721s on the Ethereum blockchain. They're held on Arweave and IPFS. And so the long and short of it is that the people in the launch DAO are taking the first 100 NFTs just in case like the community at some point in the future decides to treat these as a reputation system. We don't all, like the early builders don't get all fucked and diluted because like the community uses it as like a hostile takeover. But outside of that reason that we took the first 100, the other 100 are going to go to people that are like early stage community participants. And the purpose of it is really just to essentially like tag individuals that helped us early on. Like as we get bigger and bigger and bigger, we won't know like one frog anon from the next frog anon. Especially in the space with a lot of people being like anonymous and like having anonymous avatars, it's tough to keep track of everything like 2 years from now. So there's going to be something like this NFT program will like grow organically. Like we don't have like promised plans on what we're doing with it. Right now, it's just like a cool, fun way for us to keep track of people who are helping us early on. And then I am working with some people in the NFT community to get some code that will allow people who have these NFTs into like certain Discord channels, and potentially even Telegram channels. So like it will kind of merge from something cool and fun to ways that we just ongoing try to hook up these NFT owners for like a period of time, right? So the long and short of it is we're just going to see where it goes from here. But if you miss the NFT program, check out the Medium and you can kind of see what we're doing there. That is where
there's
copyright that I need to burn some of
that.
this.
There's also the whole meme competition. So if there's anyone out there doing memes, wants to make us memes and stuff like that, you get rewarded in the NFTs. There's been some really great submissions inside the channel. So if you're out there, meme makers.
Yeah, and the meme competition's simple. Like we're gonna give away one NFT a month to like whoever makes the best meme in the Discord. So like we need memes like for marketing regardless. So the more memes, the better. If you submit one, we can use it. If we use it, it doesn't mean you get an NFT. But one person a month is gonna get an NFT for like winning the meme award.
Yeah, and some people have already gotten some NFTs. Right? No, we haven't given them out yet, but we promised them.
Well, we have 7 that went out. Like that guy ResumeBit, who's been like going ham in Discord and like helping pretty substantially. Some of like the early stage Twitter people. I gave one to Anthony Cesano and DeFi Dad because they in particular have been like shouting us out a lot and helped us get like a lot of Twitter followers. And then there's this guy like Crypto to It that introduced us, that guy Daniel that did the spam bot. So it's like, and then the guys like in the NFT community that helped me even figure out how to do all this shit, like I gave them, so it's like 7 or 8 have gone out already, but I mean, there's 92 to go.
Cool. So I think to wrap up this call, one of the last things is I just want to go through the comment and the questions from the community. We already did the first question, which was about the DAO and the community governance. But the other one is, BarnBridge is the exact kind of project that would attract TradFi professionals. Has there been any thought to, at some point, leveraging organizations like Grayscale, BitGo as part of a target marketing strategy? I don't know. Should we talk about that? I kind of feel like we shouldn't talk about that.
Let's just say that.
Let's just say that stuff's going on.
Think about it this way. At some point in the future, the way the Smart Alpha product works, and I'm going to have to, one of the things on my list to do is to work on an article about like exactly how Smart Yield and Smart Alpha are going to work, like getting a little deeper than the white paper did, because like the white paper was an idea. We're actually now like trying to spec out like building this thing. So at some point in the future, if you want to think like why, when people say like BarnBridge is such a big idea, or it could like change crypto, or like that we're going after TradFi, the concept is that there's when someone wants to buy like Bitcoin or Ethereum, they have to buy the entire risk curve, meaning like you have to buy a whole Bitcoin. So if it goes down 30%, you lose 30%. And so a lot of these like really large institutional purchasers of any type of asset or commodity, they're turned off by the volatility that is Bitcoin. So like you see the whole like Morgan Creek Digital Group trying to go and sell Bitcoin to CalPERS. On the Ethereum side, we have like Dharma Capital. So like Andrew Keys, James Slazes, they're trying to sell like Ethereum to State Street. And they're all getting the same feedback from the TradFi side, which is that, yeah, that's fine, but it's extremely volatile. But their clients are interested in it, right? Like it's been the top performing asset. and their clients can only bitch so much before they like replace them. So what the Smart Alpha product allows people to do is to essentially have a low risk entry point and a high risk entry point into Bitcoin, like wrap Bitcoin or REN Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like YFI, whatever product we decide to like vote on to allow into the BarnBridge ecosystem. We're going to create like price bonds that if it goes up 30%, 25% of that will go to the junior tranche, 5% of that would go to the senior tranche, or like the low risk tranche, the high risk tranche. So I think people can naturally start to think about how someone like Grayscale would be interested in that, where you could have like a high risk entry point and a low risk entry point into Bitcoin. How like a Fidelity Digital could be interested in something like that, especially when you get to like synthetics wrapping Tesla. So like you have synthetic Tesla, and you can have a high risk, low risk entry point into essentially any asset in the world, right? So like there's going to be a lot of integration opportunities. We're creating a product that is very, very hard to structure in TradFi, but thanks to smart contracts, it becomes a lot easier not only to split out these assets in alpha streams, but then also how you track them down scale, like how Aave would measure a low risk alpha product and a high risk alpha product and how they weight that for collateralization ratios. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do with this. And so we are talking to people. We haven't opened up like any like super official conversations.
I think the best thing I was gonna say, I think the best thing is that a lot of it, like there's a lot of people that work on this that have connections into powerful TradFi institutions and powerful crypto TradFi institutions. So it definitely is talked about a lot, but the protocol will exist and the products that are being built. There's definitely interest. I think it's best to kind of leave it at that at this point. Unless you want it.
Well, the only thing I'll say in finality on that is like it's unlikely that like BarnBridge is ever going to need to partner with like a Grayscale. Like Grayscale can just buy the Smart Alpha products off of the market and wrap them in a trust on their own. Like we're not a legal entity and we don't have a broker dealer. Like so there will be entire industries hopefully built on top of BarnBridge that like we don't need to give someone permission to do, but we can talk to them and explain to them how they can use these products. But like BarnBridge is never going to have a broker dealer. Like we're never going to be the ones that are actually securitizing these products and selling them back to TradFi. Maybe someone on this call will do it on a separate entity, but BarnBridge is not going to do that. We can't. It's a risk to the entire protocol, and it's centralized.
Well, there's no legal entity to BarnBridge. It
Sure.
doesn't. There's no one you can put it under. So like it doesn't matter. It's a mute issue. Unless all of a sudden the governments of the world start recognizing DAOs as legal entities, it's just not going to happen.
Which it's unlikely that we're going to
be maybe that is the future we're heading towards. I don't know. That would be kind of dope. Anyway, I think we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get into the weeds on it because it's a little dicey. But so the last thing this guy said was, I like the focus in the early days will be on organic growth. Synthetics is a good model to emulate, deliver, and the right people will come. A lot of memes originate first in Discord, Spartans, etc., then branch out. I think we covered that. That's what the NFT program is, but not Runner. Yeah, we all agree that that's our main focus, is to really kind of build the community right now. As you've seen, like a lot of what we're doing is giving away the tokens to the community, or allowing the community to get most of the tokens. And we definitely are crypto OGs in a lot of senses, and we believe in the ideas of decentralization. So community is everything, and that's in that point. So I think everyone on the call would agree with that. With that, I think we're done with the call, unless there's anything anyone here wants to go over. I think it was a really good call. Just get ready, everyone out there. Yield farming's coming. With that, you guys have a nice night. Go get a martini, shaken not stirred.
Thanks.
Pablo, please do. All right, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.